God to a king? What's a king to a God? What's a God to a non-believer who don't believe in anything? Can you make it out alive? Alright, alright. No church in the wild.
Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to the Inglewood Call. I am Sonia Harper.
And I'm Rashana Baldwin. We welcome you for joining us on today.
This evening on the Inglewood Call, we're going to be talking about Black history, being that it is Black History Month. We're going to be exploring the topic, what Black history means to us today, and we have a very special guest in the studio who's going to be exploring that topic later on during the show. But before we even get into the news, we do want to remind you that this is a live call-in show with the Resident Association of Greater Englewood, and you can take a look there as our contact information. You can reach us at rageinglewood.org, and our number is 866-845-1032. And you can always email us at joinrage@gmail.com.
And also follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Rage on Facebook. We have several social media sites. Right now is our Facebook page. You can also check us out on Twitter, which is at join_rage. We also now have an Instagram page, which is again rage_Inglewood. Who are the members of Rage? The residents who are on all wards Greater Englewood. Residents who reside in all wards of Greater Englewood, and non-residents who also support our mission.
That's right. Rage members are not only people who live in the community, but also our allies who maybe live or work outside the community as well. From all the 5 wards of Englewood, as you can see there, the 15th ward, the 16th ward, the 17th ward, and the 20th ward as well as the 6th ward. So we also want to remind you what our focus areas. We want to remind you that we are a resident association, and we work under 3 main focuses. One of them is education and youth development.
The other one is economic development.
And also civic engagement and empowerment. And along with that, we always want to be able to deliver the most positive news and the best news right here on our show, The Inglewood Call. We know that on most other news stations, you won't get the kind of news you get here about Englewood. That's right, Rashana?
Exactly. And what our show does is give you the events, the news, what's happening in the community, and we like to highlight our residents as well as organizations of what's really going on in the community. Right now we have important meetings coming up. For example, our BEAT meeting. Do you attend your BEAT meetings? Well, check out the dates and location.
That's right. We're always talking about how we want less violence in our communities, how we want better police treatment in our communities, and how you want just overall better resources. Well, the place that those conversations needs to take place is at that BEAT meeting. I know I've been to a lot of BEAT meetings, and sometimes it seems like it's just a place where people complain about the smallest things that's going on their block, or maybe the biggest things, but really CAPS, and it stands for Community Alternative Policing Strategy. We should be coming there as residents discussing alternative strategies to just locking up our neighbors and our residents and our youth, but coming up with ways that we can work together to make all of our communities safer. Some other news that we have going on in Englewood is that we've got Girl Scouts. Wow, Girl Scouts has finally come to the 7th District Police Station. That's where they're going to be meeting on Saturdays. If you would like more information on that, you can call the number on your screen. That's 312-747-6722. That's really exciting. Girl Scouts in Englewood.
And we like to call this segment Good in Englewood Alert, about the good news and things that's happening in the community. So we titled this segment as Good in Englewood Alert. We have an upcoming meeting, the Englewood Community Cultural Planning Council, which is February 12th. The location for the meeting is going to be at the Cultural Connection, a nice location where a lot of our residents come and shop and get different culture items. The address is 400 West 71st Street on the corner of 71st and Stewart. This council meets every second Wednesday of the month. Typically, it's at Hamilton Park. And more Good in Englewood alerts. ComEd honors neighborhood heroes during Black History Month. Power of One campaign. We want to give a shout out to Betty Price, Tina Harbin, and Mark Harris, all Inglewood residents, people who have been in the community doing great, positive things, and they got honored by ComEd's Honor Neighborhood Heroes. They're community activists, and also more residents have been highlighted.
That is awesome. It looks like ComEd featured 28 unique neighborhood heroes from all over Chicagoland, and we're just so honored that we got 3 people representing Inglewood in this advertising campaign. So I think that's just awesome. Go Inglewood, go ComEd maybe, but go Inglewood.
We want to invite you to call in. This is a live call-in show. Give us a call at 312-738-1060. We would love to hear from you. Share your events, ideas, thoughts about what we can be doing in the community to continue to improve the Inglewood community and make it a positive place so that other media outlets can continue to showcase or attempt to showcase the greatness in the community.
That's right. And following up on some things that we talked about last week, we did want to give you a recap of the Urban Agriculture and Community Development meeting that took place last week at Teamwork Inglewood. This meeting was all about residents, business owners, nonprofit people coming together and talking about ways that they could get involved with planning for new economic developments coming to the community. One of those developments includes the Halstead Parkways development at 63rd and Halstead, which will house the new Whole Foods Market and other retail spaces. The group has been meeting now for about several months and tackling the subjects of new business developments, business support and recruitment, food systems, urban agriculture and farming, and also education and outreach. They have also made a commitment to address current needs that have just developed, as well as planning for long-range future developments. The group, they will serve as the advisory council for the Whole Foods Market, similar to a group that was formed ahead of building their store in Detroit last June. In fact, Whole Foods Market requested that Inglewood form such a group to help them make plans for that new store slated to open in 2016. In addition to that, the group has formed committees that will spearhead projects in relation to their subject matter. So if you care about the economic future of Inglewood and you want to help create thriving place where we can shop and work and play safely, and you seriously work to make that happen, contact Rage and we can put you in contact with the organizers of that council. That was a very productive meeting.
Yes,
and I look forward to attending more with folks in the community.
Again, we invite you to call in 312-738-1060. We would love to hear from you, share your thoughts, ideas, and even be a part of the conversation and what's happening in Inglewood. It looks like we have a caller.
Good evening, caller. Thank you for calling.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you this evening?
I think for Black History, I think the main focus y'all should touch in y'all community is the high rate of drugs, the gangbangers, and the shooting that's going on in y'all community. It's always in Inglewood somebody done got shot. Y'all the highest rated for the killing, the drugs, and the gangbangers. Seem like everybody else in the community don't have that, but y'all is the highest rate. I think that's the main focus.
Well, that's a great comment, but we don't see that as being accurate. We're not just full of violence. It's not just crime here. There's so much other great things that's happening in the community, and I don't think Black History Month will be a great show to talk about or address the violence in the community. Instead, we will uplift the community, uplift our fellow residents, our brothers and sisters about what the great things that they're doing in the month of Black History. Crime happens all over the city of Chicago, not just Inglewood. So we don't focus just on the bad things, but we focus on what's not being told in the media, the amazing things that happen in Inglewood.
That's right, because we can get those reports on all the other news stations any other night of the week in the newspapers too. But they definitely thank you for watching and thank you for calling. So again, tonight we're going to be talking about what Black history means to us, right? And how we can celebrate that every single day of the year, right?
Black History, just is not for the month of Black History Month. We want to continue to highlight what's happening in the community, talk about Black History Month in its entirety. We want to look at if it could be covered 365 days in the year of Inglewood, we do want to invite you to call in and discuss this with us. We have a guest that's going to be on in a few seconds to discuss Black History Month as it in 365 days, and could it be utilized in Inglewood 365 days a year. So we have Clarence here. Clarence Hogan is a community activist, if you will, community educator. He's in technology. He does a lot of events, a lot of empowering events that's happening in the community. So Clarence, welcome. Let's just dive right in and discuss Black History Month in its entirety. Could we, a lot of people discuss and talk about Black History Month, should we just focus on the entire month, or could it be throughout the entire year?
Well, I think it should be both. Rashana, I think that Black History Month, I think that the country should take time to celebrate the accomplishments and achievements of African Americans that have been overlooked for so many years. So taking a month out to acknowledge that is a great thing. I love that. I like that. But I do think it should be something that we continue throughout the year, right? My birthday is in March, but I celebrate myself every day of the year, right? I take myself out for dinner. I buy myself new clothes. I celebrate Black history every day, right? Mother's Day come up, I celebrate Black history. When Father's Day come up, I celebrate Black history, right? When New Year's Eve come up, I celebrate Black history because I'm a Black man in this country with a family and a community that I'm connected to. And so in essence, that is celebrating me, that is celebrating my culture, that's celebrating my family, it's celebrating my community, that is celebrating Black history. So yes, I think it should be celebrated 365 days a year.
I 100% agree. Let me interrupt you there. We do have a caller. Caller, what's your question?
Yes, it can be celebrated all year long. You don't have to wait till the schools decide to teach it. You can start with your own family history. And since I live in Inglewood, there's a lot of history in Inglewood. You can have your child. It don't necessarily have to be a school assignment. You could have you assign your child to do some history research in your own community. I'll give you one little tidbit. The first woman alderman in the city of Chicago, guess what? Came from Inglewood. In case you don't remember her name, Anna Lancer.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for sharing that. We have another caller. Let's take the call before we get back to you. Caller, what's your question?
I just wanted to, number one, compliment you all for being consistent with the programming. And my comment about Black History and Black History Month is that, there have been some studies that have recognized the importance of history, Black history, to Black students, and the importance of it for their self-esteem. And I think that we can see when we look around at a lot of the young people that we see that we're not happy with them, maybe with their behavior and their dress, etc., we'll find that they have an absence of a knowledge of themselves and of Black people. So that's one of the reasons why I believe we should be practicing a sharing of our history all year round. Thank you.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I guess the next question is, are we making progress? As you see on the slide above where Malcolm X, he makes the quote, no, I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there is no progress. You pull it out all the way, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. What do you say about that?
Yes. I mean, of course, I agree with a historical figure like Malcolm X, right? The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. We have to continue to stress to our young people, like the caller said, that not only do we have historical events and heroes and sheroes in our community who have paved the way and sacrificed in many situations, Rashana, with their lives to help us get to this point, but with, in many situations, insurmountable obstacles that we don't even face today. And in some ways, we owe our ancestors more than what we're doing. This fighting and killing and the drugs that the previous caller related to, I think the other caller talked about that. It is a lack of self-identity, pride, and
self-love.
And self-love. Exactly. When a person loves themselves, they see their brothers and sisters as their brothers and sisters, and a lot of times can treat themselves in such a way. Our community is hurting, and it has been overlooked. It's been underserved. And these are the manifestation of
Exactly.
these problems. And I'm not blaming or pointing the finger, because some of those manifestations of the problem come from individuals just like us.
Let me interrupt you. We have another caller. Caller, what's your question?
Yes. My name is Rufus Williams, and I'm not afraid to say my name, because I'm going to tell you, I think y'all doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Number one, you're bringing awareness to the area about everything. Also, I like to say that the reason that we get so much attention on Inglewood is because President Obama lives close by there. I grew up in a Hispanic neighborhood, and I've seen more killing and more shooting and more gang banging going on than a little bit. But the media choose
Exactly.
project a certain area, and they put that on the news every day. Now, if we went out there and we actually looked, and I'm not going to try to hold y'all up too long, but we go out there and we actually look how many killings going on in the suburbs. They looking right there in Inglewood. Look how many killings going on the north side, but they looking in Inglewood. Look at what they doing further south. They looking in Inglewood. I think that the whole thing of it is that's how the media works.
Yes.
Propaganda. And I like to say one other thing, and then I'm going to let y'all go. The other thing that I like to say is that I appreciate our heritage, but we as people got to start teaching our young folks like we used to teach them back in the day.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. That was an excellent comment. I agree 100%. This even goes into the conversation that we had. Preparing, and how could we prepare our youth, especially in school and education? Should we even enforce it more, the curriculum of African American history class? And we talked a lot about that. We went back and forth if it should be even enforced. What are your thoughts about
I agree with the caller. You know, some things are our responsibility. We cannot wait for the school system to educate our kids or our youth or our children about stuff that has to do with us, and then hold them responsible to do so. We know what's going on in our community. We know the truth. And if we don't, we should learn it, right? And we should be able to teach that to our youth. There's certain things that I want to be able to teach my son and my daughter. Sex ed, I want my daughter to learn sex ed first from her parents. And if the school enforces that, that's good. I don't want my child to learn black heritage from a person who may or may not believe in the existence and the greatness of African descendant people. So that's my job. That's our job. That's the community's job. And we just have to stand up and do it and quit pointing the fingers at the school system. They got a big enough job as it is.
Terrence, you make a valid point. Let me interrupt you again, because we have a call. We want to definitely make sure we're addressing our callers. Callers, what's your question?
I just want to bring up some points of history. We had one famous poet and writer came from Inglewood, Gwendolyn Brooks. It'd be nice in the schools. They had pictures of and plaques of these famous people that came from Inglewood. I give you one other little tidbit. We had Reverend Daniel that he got a presidential letter from President Reagan, because he was the one that was responsible for all those housing down around that church. I can't think of the name of that church around this area, because he was praised by President Reagan. Also, let's don't forget, I think it was in 1998 or 99, President Clinton, he came to the Inglewood area. Matter of fact, he went over to Inglewood High School. We got to sometimes concentrate on the good things as well.
Yeah, we do.
Exactly, and that's what we do on the show. We highlight the great things that's happening in the community. Again, there's so much that can happen that's happening negative, but we choose to focus on what the media is not showing. But let me get back to it. We have another caller. Caller, what's your question?
Yes, hello.
Hi, what's your question?
Okay, when he talked about Reverend Daniels, that was Antioch. And Reverend Daniels came from 51st and Indiana over to Antioch. Also, Ada S. Niles was very famous and familiar over there. You have buildings that was given to her to help us in the Inglewood community. And then from over there on Halsted, across the street from where Kennedy King is, around in that area, where the dime store was, Ada S. Niles was given that building by the Catholic nuns. Also, the building, the senior citizen building down the street there from the health department. That was because of Ada S. Niles. See, as adults, we need to learn our history ourselves.
Exactly.
And then we can better inform our kids. As long as we want to be acting ugly and stupid, then, what is the kid supposed to do? And I appreciate you all. Keep up that good work.
Thank you so much for that comment. Let's get back to it. Clarence, as we talk, is an educator. He is actually continuing on the work of a lot of our ancestors by being a teacher, teaching technology, and hosting uplifting events in the community. He has an event coming up that we want to discuss and showcase and invite you out to.
Well, just briefly, I think one of the callers said it best. We really need to look at some love, and people need to look at some healing. And so this event that we're showing on the screen now is called Black Love. It's a cultural expression of love through art, poetry, comedy, and music. February 22nd, which is a Saturday, at a loft space. And if you need more information about this event, you can just go to my website, www.sunnyspeaks.com, www.sunnyspeaks.com. But this is an issue that we need to really address: is how do we get black love in our community so that this kind of violence against one another doesn't exist like this. This is not normal to see black boys killing black boys all the time, or black girls berating black girls, or whatever. We really need some black love in our community.
Exactly. Let's get to our next caller. Caller, what's your question?
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
Listen, I just want to make one quick statement, and that is that at every chance we get, we need to stigmatize and teach against gangs and gang activity. And if we're not doing that, we're just really stagnant. We're not doing much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. How do we address that? What would you say?
Gang and gang activity. I think, again, I don't want to sound like a parrot, but a lot of times young people go into gangs for a variety of reasons, but one of them is to feel connected to another group of people. Sometimes young men can feel isolated and get really caught up into male masculinity roles. We need some older men, like this young gentleman just mentioned, and the other speaker that was on the line earlier, to actually step up and be mentors in our community and start loving on some of these young people who
I like that. Loving on some of these young
lost.
people.
Some of these young people are lost, and they want to be heard. They need a voice. Some programs could help them express themselves, whether it's through rap or poetry or art, not just through violence, using their body and violence to make themselves known. Young people need to be heard. They need an outlet. They need a place to express themselves. And we have places like that. So we just need to focus on those as opposed to just focusing on negative things, and we can push young people towards those type of things.
I like that a lot because you give a lot of the youth an outlet, and some of the work you do is not the typical music, poetry, it's technology. You teach a lot of classes. Can you talk more about the work that you do in the Inglewood community as it relates to technology and what you actually offer? Because you also work with a lot of the youth, correct?
Yes, I do. I've been doing after-school enrichment programs for over 20 years, and so I do a variety of different after-school programs at community schools, after-school programs, and the like. A lot of times it's digital storytelling where individuals can create a mini video about their lives. And it's always engaging just to see how in-depth and how encouraged they are to just bring their life to digitalize it, actually, with pictures and video clips and music and sound and text. And of course we backdrop that with education and learning and the internet and research and stuff like that. Burn it on a DVD, they pass it out. But again, it's just an outlet for young people to see that you are important, you are needed. We actually need young people in our community. We cannot exist if all the young people decide to fight and kill one another. And we also need our seniors, these griots that we just heard on the phone earlier, who are just sharing wealth of information. These young people need to hear that. So that we can continue to grow and strive as a community.
You bring up a very valid point when you said some of the things that you do with the youth. I like the fact that you mentioned the digital storytelling. We need to tell our own story. That's kind of, to me, what Black History is about. That's right. If it's not going to be the entire year, but we're telling our own story, not letting someone else dictate our history. It looks like we have another caller. Caller, what's your question?
Hello?
Hi, caller, what's your question?
Yes, some weeks ago, am I on the air?
You are on the air. Go ahead with your question.
Some weeks ago, Barbara Bennett, didn't she state that the Black History was going to be incorporated into the curriculum? I hope you all will keep her
at the forefront.
Hold her up to that.
Yes.
Accountable for that.
Absolutely. Yes, we definitely will and follow up with that. I didn't hear that, but I'm pretty sure that's something we definitely need to follow up with. It looks like we have another caller. Caller, what's your question?
Hello?
Hi, are you there? Caller, what's your question?
Oh, yeah, I am. Hi, my name is Eric Hernandez. I'm the tech fellow at IC Stars, and I've actually been trying to reach out to you guys for a long time, and I'm so happy to hear Clarence and all the great work in technology that you've been working with in the community. I would like to extend an invitation to Rage to stop by our studio and have some tea. We're located at 415 North Dearborn. We are IC Stars. I hope that you guys check out our space, and we provide a 4-month internship to individuals who have passion, have overcome adversity, who want to make not just an impact in themselves, but also their communities too. So it's just a quick little comment. Continue the great work. We love you guys, and we're always leading with love as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great,
and we
great.
invite you to visit our Rage page, which is rageinglewood.org, or email us and send us more information on how we can participate and collaborate. Join Rage at gmail.com. We would love to, form some type of collaboration. And definitely callers, we continue to invite you to call in 312-738-1060. We're talking about Black history, and if it can be for the entire 365 days, as Clarence mentioned, he celebrates his birthday all year long.
All year
He celebrates Valentine's Day all year long.
Yeah, I love all year long. And let me just get back to what one of the callers said about the school. The school district is very important. That is a place that we should definitely hold our teachers and our the school administration responsible, but I just think that responsibility starts with us. We really have to make sure that this type of education for our youth is important, right? If you go over to a person's house and you look on their shelves and their books, their music, that is what they're giving their children, right? And they can say that they love Black history, but if they don't have any books that celebrate Black women, or any movies that celebrate Black love, or they don't watch TV shows that focus on those things, then I'm not sure if your kid is catching that. And to expect a 27-year-old teacher at a school that just got out of school a year ago to do that, even though that could be her job, that may not be her responsibility. That's our responsibility. And I just think we need to just do it. We got to that's it. We have to do it, or we're going to be in a situation very similar to where we're in right now.
Exactly. We can continue this conversation longer, but it's so great to see that we have this opportunity to share some of the resources. We invite you to check us out next Thursday, same time, 7:30. We want to do a call to action. We want you to attend your beat meetings and volunteer with Rage.